Kethvo held the extinction-grade compound in his right claw. The heavy glass vial contained exactly 0.01 milliliters of pure liquid solvent. It was enough to dissolve a heavy worlder in 4 seconds flat. The Academy's lethal dose table had not been updated for this moment. It had been completely retired. Mara unscrewed a small glass jar on her lap. She pinched white crystals from it. She rubbed the granules slowly around the rim of the glass. No fear, no panic, no death. She lifted the salted extinction to her mouth. Kethvo's photosynthetic shoulder membranes turned black. The metabolic scanner in his left hand flashed a bright, solid green. The machine had broken. I still check the logs from that day, because what the human did next broke our understanding of life itself. Stay close. At 600 station time, Kethvo pulled the heavy steel lever on the atmospheric chamber. The door unlocked with a loud hiss. 23 cadets sat on the long metal bench inside. Kethvo walked down the line and handed out the first round of vials. He carried a heavy digital clipboard in his left hand. He read the toxicity figures aloud to the room. 34 cadets have suffered organ liquefaction in this room since the Academy opened, Kethvo said. 6 died in the last cycle alone. You will drink when instructed. You will not leave the bench. He reached the far end of the line. Mara sat swinging her heavy boots against the metal grating. She was the only human cadet on the station. She stood 1.5 meters tall. She lacked a filtration implant. She wiped her mouth with the back of her bare hand. She reached into her uniform pocket. She unscrewed a small glass jar. She tapped white granules directly onto her tongue. "Bland," she said, "the food here needs this." Threvok, the senior proctor, stood in the corner. His armor-plated thorax clicked once. The sound cracked like a gunshot in the sterile room. "Do not eat during the trial," Threvok ordered. "It is just salt," Mara said. "You want some." Threvok stepped forward. He pointed his heavy claw at Kethvo. "Start the trial," Threvok said. "Drink vial 1." They drank the first vial. 2 cadets immediately grabbed their throats. They fell off the bench and hit the floor grating hard. Medical drones rolled out from the wall. The machines grabbed the fallen cadets and dragged them out of the room. Kethvo pressed the fail button on his clipboard twice. "Vial 2, Threvok called out. Kethvo distributed the second round from his secure cart. The liquid glowed dull orange in the low light. 5 more cadets collapsed after swallowing. Their bodies shook violently. Their internal organs fought the chemical invasion. Ulix, the junior medic, ran into the room. She injected neutralizers directly into their necks and pulled them toward the safety bay. Kethvo tapped the main monitor screen. Red lines spiked across the large display. The remaining cadets burned through massive energy reserves just to stay alive. He tapped Mara's specific readout. It showed a flat green line. She was tapping her foot against the metal bench. She looked up at the ceiling lights. She hummed a short, fast tune. "Vial 3, Threvok said. His voice dropped lower. Kethvo handed out the third dose. The chemical smelled like burning copper. 3 more cadets dropped to the floor. Ulix dragged them out by their collars. The room was emptying fast. "Vial 4, Threvok said. Kethvo poured the 4th glass. He handed it to Varn. Varn drank it. The cadet dropped his empty glass. His crystalline joints cracked under the intense chemical pressure. The sound mirrored thick ice breaking under heavy boots. Varn doubled over and vomited blue bile onto the floor grating. His legs gave out completely. Ulix rushed forward. She grabbed Varn by the shoulders and dragged him toward the observation bay. His joints cracked in 3 more places as he moved. Kethvo walked down the bench. Only 4 cadets remained seated. Mara was one of them. Threvok pointed a heavy claw at her. "Administer vial 5 to the human." Kethvo carried the 5th glass down the line. The liquid inside boiled at room temperature. He handed it to the human. She threw it back in one gulp. She wiped her mouth, a little spicy like bad ginger. Threvok stepped away from the wall. His heavy plates ground together. He bypassed Vial 6 entirely. He walked right up to the metal bench. "Bring her 7, Threvok ordered. Vial 7 was an atmospheric extract from Sulfur World 9, Class 9 toxicity. 0.3 milliliters killed a Krindari instantly. No known species survived a dose above 0.25. Kethvo unlocked the secondary safe on his cart. He poured the exact measure into a fresh glass. His hands shook. He locked the cap back onto the main container. He walked back to the bench and set the glass on her metal tray. Mara picked it up. She swirled the dark liquid around. She took a small sip. She paused. She looked at the glass. She looked at the proctor. "This tastes like the cough syrup my mom used to make," she said. "The cherry kind, bad cherry." She held the vial out toward Threvok. "You want some?" she asked. "I bet it would clear your sinuses." Ulix's transparent skin flared bright orange in the medical bay. Threvok's thorax clicked so hard a large plate split right down the middle. A thin line of fluid leaked from his broken armor. Kethvo snatched the metabolic scanner from his belt. He stepped right in front of Mara. He pointed the device directly at her chest and pulled the trigger. The screen flashed a bright, solid green. Green meant safe. Green meant functional. Kethvo ripped the back panel off the scanner. The internal wires were melting. The numbers on the raw data feed spun too fast to read. The machine had hit 847% metabolic overload. It fried its own logic board trying to register her clearance rate. It defaulted to the only state it understood before breaking completely. Threvok marched to the center of the room. He pointed at the reinforced lockbox on the back wall. "Administer Vial 12, Threvok said. Ulix dropped a medical datapad in the observation bay. It shattered on the hard floor. "Proctor," Kethvo said, "that is the extinction-grade compound. We do not use it on live subjects." "Administer it," Threvok yelled. "The system does not fail." Kethvo unlocked the back wall box. He lifted the final glass with both hands. He brought the vial to the human. It held exactly 0.01 milliliters of pure solvent. Mara looked at the dark liquid. She reached into her pocket. She brought out the glass jar of white crystals, her grandmother's table salt. She wet the rim of the extinction vial with her thumb. She sprinkled the salt carefully around the edge. Kethvo stood perfectly still as she lifted the glass. She drank the solvent. She smacked her lips. She looked at the empty glass in her hand. "Needs lime," she said. "Or maybe it is the glass. Earth glass tastes better." Above them in the observation gallery, Kess had been humming. The bored observer emitted a constant 40 Hz pulse of anxious energy during the entire trial. The hum stopped. Kess flatlined into dead silence. The hive mind representative encountered a biological reality it could not synchronize with. Mara held the empty glass out to Kethvo. "Is there more?" she asked. "I am actually kind of thirsty." No sirens went off. No alarms sounded. No guards rushed in. The room just sat in complete silence while the human waited for a refill. By 1800 hours, a new paper hung on the main notice board. Directive 7H, it was printed on gray institutional stock. It stated that no human cadet would be administered toxin trials without prior xenobiological review. It was a complete institutional withdrawal. Threvok filed a formal transfer request the next morning. He left the station on the first transport. Ulix received a quiet promotion to senior xenobiological adjunct. Nobody held a ceremony. The academy bought her silence with rank. Kethvo walked to the medical bay later that day. Varn lay on a recovery bed. His joints were wrapped tightly in thermal bandages. He would not walk for 6 months. Kethvo left the medical bay and walked down to the main commissary. He saw Mara sitting at a corner table. She was eating a standard protein ration. She was pouring salt over it. He did not speak to her. He turned around and walked the other way. 7 days later, Kethva walked through the third floor of the Academy Museum. He stopped at a new reinforced display case. Inside sat a small glass jar with a metal lid. It held white granules. The brass plaque at the bottom of the case caught the bright overhead lights.